The 1950s were more than just a time of jukebox hits, poodle skirts, and soda fountains. They were the beginning of something big under the hood. This was when American drivers started craving speed, not just comfort. Even though the term muscle car didn't exist yet, the seeds were already planted. Engineers began slipping big V8 engines into regular-sized cars, and drivers were hooked from the first roar. This video explores 12 unforgettable cars from the 1950s that didn't wear the muscle car title back then, but absolutely earned it in spirit. Some looked tough, others hid their power behind sleek lines, but all of them helped spark America's love affair with raw performance. Number 12. 1949 Oldsmobile Rocket 88. Where the legend begins. Ask any car history buff about the birth of the muscle car, and chances are they'll name the Rocket 88. In 1949, Oldsmobile paired a relatively light body with a 303 cubic inch overhead valve V8. It cranked out 135 horsepower, but more importantly, it delivered low-end torque like a sledgehammer. This was the first time many Americans felt real acceleration in a family coupe. Street racers loved it, and it dominated early NASCAR events. The Rocket 88 didn't just move, it moved people. It set the tone for what muscle cars would become: fast, accessible, and unforgettable. Number 11. 1956 Hudson Hornet V8 Hollywood. A fierce farewell. The Hudson Hornet was already a legend thanks to its six-cylinder NASCAR success. But its last act was something special. In 1956, just before merging with AMC, Hudson dropped a packet-sourced 352 cubic inch V8 into the Hornet and created the Hollywood version. With 285 horsepower and a sleek, low-slung fastback profile, it was part boulevard cruiser, part road warrior. The car didn't break sales records, but it stood out for one reason. It was Hudson's final battle cry in the performance world: quietly powerful and gracefully aggressive. The Hornet V8 Hollywood was the end of an era, and it went out swinging. Number 10. 1957 Rambler Rebel. The Fast Four drum isn't the first name most think of when it comes to speed, but in 1957, they shocked the industry with the Rambler Rebel. This unassuming four-door sedan housed a brand new 327 V8, making 255 horsepower, and thanks to its modest weight, it flew. It was actually the fastest production sedan in the US that year. AMC even toyed with offering electronic fuel injection, way ahead of its time, but abandoned the idea before production. Still, the Rebel proved that muscle didn't have to come with flash. Sometimes it wore a suit and still packed a punch. Number 9. 1957 Ford Thunderbird. Supercharged elegance meets power. The Ford Thunderbird wasn't supposed to be a hot rod. It launched as a personal luxury car. But in 1957, Ford decided to shake things up. They added a Paxton McCulloch supercharger to the 312 cubic inch V8, bringing output to a hefty 300 horsepower. Suddenly, this smooth cruiser could run with the big dogs. The Thunderbird looked polished and refined, but when you hit the gas, the supercharger's distinct whine reminded you it meant business. It didn't just turn heads, it turned perceptions. Ford proved that luxury and power could live together in one beautiful package. Number 8. 1956 Packard Caribbean. When muscle wore a tuxedo, Packard was famous for luxury, not tire-shredding speed. But the 1956 Caribbean changed that, with a massive 374 cubic inch V8 under the hood. It made 310 horsepower, more than many sports cars of its time. It also featured an innovative torsion-level suspension system that kept the car level, even when accelerating hard or braking suddenly. Inside, it was a palace of leather, chrome, and handcrafted details. Outside, it turned heads with its bold two-tone paint and clean lines. The Caribbean showed that you didn't have to give up comfort to enjoy real power. Number 7. 1958 Pontiac Bonneville. The brand reborn by the late 50s, Pontiac was seen as a brand for grandpas, but the Bonneville changed that in a big way. The 1958 model came with a fuel-injected 370 V8 that could push up to 330 horsepower, a serious number at the time. It had long, sleek lines, bold chrome, and an aggressive stance. And it wasn't just about straight-line speed. This car handled well and had the kind of swagger that Pontiac desperately needed. The Bonneville marked the beginning of Pontiac's transformation into a performance brand, paving the way for the GTO and Firebird in the years ahead. Number 6. 1957, Pontiac Bonneville Convertible, small run, big impact. Only 630 of these special convertibles were built, but they left a massive footprint. The 1957 Bonneville convertible featured a fuel-injected 347 V8 with 310 horsepower and a hydromatic automatic transmission. It was sleek, stylish, and stuffed with tech that most cars wouldn't see for years. Pontiac used this car to test ideas that would later define their muscle car identity: wide track stance, performance engines, and bold design. It wasn't just rare, it was revolutionary. If the GTO was Pontiac's big move, the 57 Bonneville convertible was the warm-up act. Number 5. 1957, Lincoln Premier, graceful, but don't push it. The Lincoln Premier was built for quiet luxury, but it had a wild side. Beneath its elegant exterior sat a 368 cubic inch V8 that made 300 horsepower, a lot for such a smooth ride. The Premier weighed nearly 5,000 pounds, but it could still sprint with surprising urgency. It didn't have racing stripes or hood scoops. It didn't need them. This was stealth wealth, a reminder that you could have serious muscle even in a gentleman's car. Number 4.1955 Buick Century. The gentleman's hot rod, named the banker's hot rod. The 1955 Buick Century was a classic case of putting a big engine into a smaller car. Buick took the powerful 322 nailhead V8 and stuffed it into their shorter Century body, creating a luxury coupe that could really move. 0 to 60 in under 10 seconds was impressive at the time. And the car delivered its power in a smooth, dignified way. It didn't scream for attention, but it always made a strong impression. The Century showed that performance didn't have to come with a rebellious look. Sometimes it wore a tie. Number 3. 1957, Dodge Custom Royal Lancer, D500, big body, big bite. The Custom Royal Lancer D500 was Dodge's answer to the growing performance craze. It came with a high-output, 325 Hemi V8, dual carbs, and up to 310 horsepower in the Super D500 trim. This wasn't a trim package, it was a true street machine. The D500 was big, bold, and backed up its looks with real bite. With upgraded suspension and a 3-speed TorqueFlite automatic, it was as ready for the track as it was for Main Street. Dodge proved you didn't need a small car to deliver muscle. Number 2. 1956, Mercury Montclair, flashy and fast Mercury S. Montclair was all about bold design and smooth cruising, but it had some punch too. The 312 V8 under the hood made up to 235 horsepower, and paired with the Mercumatic automatic, it delivered strong acceleration with effortless shifts. The styling was pure 1950s Americana two-tone paint, loads of chrome, and an interior that looked like it came from a movie. But underneath all that, flair was a car that could move. The Montclair gave drivers a taste of performance without losing its sense of style. Number 1. 1958. Edsel Corsair 410 misfit with muscle. The Edsel brand may be remembered as a flop, but the 1958 Corsair 410 was no joke. It came with a massive 410 cubic inch V8 that made 345 horsepower and nearly 500 pounds ft of torque. That's muscle car territory, and this was a full-sized luxury car. It had futuristic features like push-button gear selectors and a rolling dome speedometer. Yes, the design was controversial, and the marketing was a mess. But under the skin, the Corsair had serious potential. It just arrived too early, and maybe too weird for its own good. These 12 cars may not have looked the part or worn the name, but they were the backbone of what muscle cars would become. They brought serious power, innovative features, and bold style to the streets before muscle was mainstream. They didn't just drive fast, they changed the direction of American car culture. So, which of these unsung heroes would you want in your garage? Let us know in the comments, and be sure to hit subscribe for more deep dives into the cars that shaped the golden age of horsepower.